Red Notice, out on Netflix now, a new blockbuster action film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. Reportedly, it is the single most expensive movie produced by Netflix to date, costing them around $200 million, which is a fucking lot. Even if you consider that this is an action blockbuster with big set pieces around the world, and even if you take into account that the fact that reportedly each of the main trio was paid $20 million for being in it. Anyway, the setup is this. Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot are both rival art thieves, competing between one another for the title of the best thief in the world. The job they're both currently working on involves stealing the legendary 3 eggs of Cleopatra given to her by Mark Antony as a gift. They're made up for the film, by the way, they're not real. If any of them finds all 3, they get a payout of $300 million. And into the mix comes The Rock, who is an FBI profiler working with the Interpol, trying to stop the heists and catch both thieves, which will unfortunately require him teaming up with Reynolds for a while in order to catch up to the clearly smarter Gadot. And from then on, there's a lot of globetrotting, a lot of banter between the characters, a bit of fourth wall breaking, and even more double-crossing, plot twists and secret reveals. So I have a bit of a problem with this film, which is that on the one hand, it feels quite derivative without anything particularly special, without doing anything particularly special with the elements that it copies from other movies. So essentially, the first act of the film is kind of like Mission Impossible. The second reminded me of the James Bond movies with a touch of Ocean's 11. And the third and final one is straight up Indiana Jones. But as I was watching it unfold, I was always aware that there is nothing at all that this film would do better than any of those 3 that it was inspired by. It's not as suave or cool or charming. The story is just okay. Although I will admit, many of the things that I was upset with about the story as it was unfolding proved to be intentional as the reveals started happening. So, with the new information, things that didn't make sense for me suddenly did. Red Notice is also not great at anything in terms of the technical aspects. It looks average, it is at times too well lit and too narrowly shot. The music is forgettable, the action is so-so. Even though you see that some of the stunt work is great, it's kind of difficult to enjoy it because of the quick cuts and shaky camera work, which is meant to hide the fact that, of course, it's not the main actors doing those stunts, it's their stunt doubles. And the performances, well, they're not really performances, are they? All 3 of the main cast are essentially just playing themselves. And here we come to the core of my issue. Because it almost feels like the movie is cheating by using such enjoyable personalities as a crutch to carry the film. And it sort of works. I mean, for all my criticisms, I did enjoy watching those people play off each other, argue, double-cross, and throw snarky one-liners. It really is as if the filmmakers knew this and just said, screw it. We don't really need to try in any of the other aspects of the film because we have such likable and charismatic stars in this film that just filming whatever they do and say is enough. And I kind of want to fault the movie for that, but my general philosophy of reviewing movies is that I always try to look at what the movie is in relation to what it tried to be. And this film did not try to be an original, groundbreaking action film or have an engrossing storyline or wow you with its cinematography. It was meant to be 2 hours of unwinding after a long day of work, where you don't need to think too much and instead just enjoy the light-hearted banter and adventuring with some of your favorite Hollywood people. And it does exactly that. It is precisely the movie it promised to be. So I think at the end of the day, it succeeds. I mean, would I have wanted, personally, for it to try a little harder anyway and be better at all those things that I talked about? Of course. But it probably didn't need to be in order to still be enjoyed by its target audience. And I think it certainly can be enjoyed.